Hello and welcome to Scriptcase by Jamie. That is me, and of course some Scriptcase development in between, as well as some other topics. Well, today we will be continuing with the project that we were just doing. Yes, I thought I would add some more. I didn't want to leave you with a buggy form and possibly other bits and pieces that you would maybe want to apply to the project. So let's dive in, shall we, and take a look at where we had left off within the series of videos where we had just created a nice little client and company management platform. Okay, and as it so happens, we have an update available today. Well, I will go ahead and leave that and just skip that for now. I will apply it later on, but for now, let's just dive into the project and see where we were. So if I go ahead and run the project now, we have the following: a nice header with a logo, some text up here. We have a client management grid where we can edit the client information as well as send them an email. And of course, this form does have some bugs which we will want to resolve, and we will more than likely want to make some adjustments here along the way. So here we had also added our clients to the companies list that we had. We have here an email log, as well as email templates and email settings, because yes, in the send email we have here the possibility of adding templates in there, and that just adds then a template which we have stored within this grid here. And of course we can make adjustments to this or add more, and then those templates would essentially be available for import within those applications. Okay, so I do want to do a few things here today. So first of all, I want to resolve the bugs that I had left here. And so rudely, of course, because that was quite rude of me to give you a platform which had some bugs in there. And we all hate bugs now, don't we? So let's open up then the control client email form, which we have here. And I will open up the events because I will want to come here in a moment. But first of all, here are the fields. So the bugs that we have here would be down to the email to, email from, as well as the subject field. So for text fields, basically, we have here by default with the control form a limitation. And that limitation here is of maximum 20 characters, which is of course no good for our subject, right? So let's change that to 250. We can come up here and we can change here the amount of characters if we wanted to, but we don't have to do that because it's unrelated. That's really just for the field width, as it says here. Okay, so then if I come here to my email to, and I will save on the way, and I'll do the same here. I'll scroll down, and here we have a slight difference with just the maximum size. So there I was set to 50 as well. And again, access here the email from and save along the way. Right, so here on the email from, I can change this to 250 characters, and just like that, we have already resolved our bugs. But really, we want to make a few other adjustments here. So the edit form, the email to should be required, and the email from should also be required. The subject, well, this should also be required. So we will set each of those as required fields and ensure that they are always added within the email that is then sent. Okay, so there now it would require an email to address. So we can actually copy the from, paste that in there, and there we then have our details. And here we can then add our subjects and a little text in there, and we would no longer receive any error messages because of course if you have tried to use this, then well, it would be telling you you have a character limitation. Right, so we want to make some further adjustments here. Let me close here these help pages I had open from earlier. I can leave the other pages open. They're good. Right, so we want to make some further adjustments. So I'm actually going to leave the control form open. And what I'm going to do then is come here to all applications. and then open here the form events and form companies, and open both of those because we have there an active status. So if I go ahead and run here the form companies, and if I come here and now if I click this active, it doesn't really tell us anything, and it doesn't really do anything other than remove them or organize them within our list. And we want to change that. So what I'm going to do then is first of all come here to my Ajax events and create a new Ajax event. And then here I'm going to say active, so selecting here my active field, and then on click, because it's basically a click function when I do here. So whenever I do this, I click. Okay, so I need to set this as an on-click Ajax event. Okay, so now I will click create event. And in here, we want to basically add a very simple little notification. So we'll say if, and let's just open and close that straight away. And we have that prepared for us beautifully. Right, so if our field active, now if our field active equals 1, then we want to output a message. Else, well, maybe we would want to output a different message. So I will add that there. And then what I will do is I will copy and paste the macro that I had just pretty much grabbed from the help page there and paste that in there. So there I have that now. And basically I can say here active and inactive. So when it's 1, it's active, and when it's 0, it's inactive. Let me capitalize that actually. So that is then also in capital letters, like so. Okay, so like that. Let's also change here the type to a warning, so we know it's actually a warning message. So if I now go run, and now we're going to have a nice little message when we come here and click on this active box. So we go inactive, active, lovely. So at least now the user is notified that something is happening, or something is, they're going to do something when they click that. So I want to copy this now also over here to the form events, and again Ajax events. Again I would choose here the active field, on click, create event, and then again I'm just going to copy and paste that because the field is the same. It's one of the ideas of trying to reuse some of those fields within those tables will make it easier for you, especially when it comes to creating some of your code. But at the same time, beware, be very beware. Using the same values within different tables can result in a mess. Okay, but that's for another day. Okay, so now here on my client, we have that now active and inactive. And notice it is given there the other message, but the theme is just not displaying it so nicely. But we can deal with that later maybe. Okay, so we have that there. I actually want to apply that here also to the control client email. So if I come here, and then when I apply then here a template, I want it to pop up a message to say template applied. So I will come back in here again, come here to Ajax events, and there we have the TPL on change event that we had created. And I can just copy and paste the whole code in there again, and then just remove the if else statement and only have here the update notification. So here we can say template. And here then we could say inserted, for instance, or something along those lines, and just leave that as a success. Now, if I go ahead and run that now when I load then the template into the email, like so, it also gives us a nice little notification there. And that's lovely, right? Okay, so what else do we have? Did we have any more active statuses here or statuses? Let's have a look. Of course, we could check our notes, but yeah, I'm not going to do that today. So we have that on the clients. We have it on the companies. We've just done that. For the email logs, we have none. For the email templates, well, we have here also an active status. So let's add it there also. So come here to email, and then here the email, form email TPL. And here if I come again to Ajax events, new Ajax event, here on TPL active, on click, create event. And again, then now here I can copy paste that, but notice now the field has a different name. So I will need to replace that with the new field name. And that is then now TPL active as it is down here. And we can leave here the messages active, inactive. And if I go ahead and run that now we can have that also with a nice little message there that informs the end user that something has happened. Excellent. Okay, so we have further adjustments here to make to these forms. So for the form clients, in the edit fields, the company name must be required as well as the email. We will want those details. I will also enforce here the country, okay, because I think that's important. We have then some data to organize our clients. Now here for the form companies, I'll come here to edit fields, and again here also required for the company name and required for the company email. And again here I could say required for the country again, and that way again we have enforced some data for organization and so forth. Okay, so our forms, well, I'm just going to close them now because we know what they do. They're enforcing those fields. We have beautiful little messages popping up there now, which is really cool. And straight away, it makes a big difference for the usability of our platform, right? We're letting people know what's happening, which is important. Okay, so now we have here within the grid companies, now we had added here the possibility of listing the clients, right? Now this, I wanted to link this to the client. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And to do that, I need to open here the grid company clients, which is the grid that is feeding those client names, if you can remember. Okay, and in here, I will then say, well, let's create an application link. And let's create that new link then on a field. And that field will then be the client name. And I will go next, and then that field, I want it to link here to the form clients. Okay, so the client name to the form clients, and now I need to specify the ID that links the two together. So we have our ID clients because of course it's our client list, right? And then remember we had added into the select the ID companies as well as the ID clients so that we could develop this sort of linkage if we wanted to. We could even add more information in here and then use this grid for other purposes. But maybe that's something we'll look at later. For now, I will just choose here the ID clients and confirm that. And now, just like that, I've already created that linkage. I will remove here the delete button. I do not want delete or insert available on this link here. So I will go ahead and remove those and click save. Okay, so let's go ahead and run our project, which will now regenerate those applications that we've just updated. So we don't have to go save, generate, save, generate. No, you forget that. Stop wasting time. Make it easier, create a nice flow, and you will have this down to a T. It really is not difficult. It's just remembering where some of those locations are and how you can do certain things. So now, for instance, if I run my project, which I've just done, I can now view the clients. Let's go ahead and check that's here. If I edit, I go active, inactive, we'll look at that now. It's applied with the theme because we have the header there now. I remove that. Beautiful. Much better, right? So you have to remember that the theme, it depends where it comes from, right? Now within some of those applications we have Bootstrap enabled and so forth, and yeah, you can do much more. Checking the theme on the final result is always best first before you go diving in there and making those changes. Okay, so that looks great. Our send email, this is also working beautifully. Let's go there. Welcome, template inserted. Beautiful, beautiful. So we can cancel that. Let's get rid of that and then come back here to my companies grid and check now here my companies and look at that, David Smith. Now I can click on that name and that will now also take me back to the client without the insert or delete functionality, and I can go back again. Excellent. And again, of course, I can come here to edit and then enable or disable that user. Excellent. So then we also have the email templates. So here, well, we have here the active status. We could edit that. And again, we have that update there, which looks very, very nice. So I hope you are all happy with this little update. Well, maybe you are. Maybe you're not. I don't know. You're going to have to let me know. Because, of course, there is a lot more that I want to apply to this. And I have been asking myself whether I do that now, whether in this video, apply some of those new features, let's say, that I want to add here, or maybe not. Because, of course, we want to use this possibly for other platforms. And right now, I think it's in quite a nice state. So what I will do actually is let's go ahead and make a few adjustments here to the menu, which we have actually here in root. And instead of going back and forth here, and like I'm saying, streamline that process, well, let's just come here to all applications. I barely have any applications here. I just go all applications, and there I have the menu. Instead of going through each of those folders looking for the application that I'm looking for. And remember that you can also use the search functionality here. This does work very well. So I could even just type in here menu, enter, and there I have the menu. Okay, so those features are there. Use them. They will speed up your workflow. Okay, so back in our menu, what I want to do is add an extra item in here. And well, there we go. I totally forgot we're using languages. Well, that's what we get for having a break. So of course, let's go ahead and open the application language. Come here then to our menu because we're adding a new menu item. And then I will add a new language key for our menu. So lang_menu, and I'll call this one settings, okay, because that's what it will be. It will be the main settings, okay, because remember before here we have e settings, which you can just see there, and if I now add that, we now have just settings. So I can copy that language key now, come back to my menu, and I'm just going to place that straight in there. Okay, and save the menu, because we know the menu is, well, it's a struggle, and as you see, it hasn't been updated yet. I hope it's soon. You know, I hope it's soon. I've had no new words since I heard last, and that was already a few weeks ago now. Yeah, okay, let's continue. Right, so our settings. I have now here the email log, email TPL, and email settings. I'm just going to go ahead and place all of those into the settings section. So if I scroll down here, we can now see here we have the Lang menu settings and then the companies and so forth. So I will save that now. Okay, because that will make sure it stays in place. If I go make any other changes there now, before I have saved, I could overwrite some of the data there. Yes, it can be super frustrating. So if you've already got a large menu, you don't want to be doing that. Save at every step. Beware. Okay, so that's great. Now, we have now our settings in here. It's a little organized. Let's just go ahead and run it and check it out really quick. So we have now our clients, our companies, and now our settings with our email log, email templates, and email settings. That's very nice. Okay, so let's just add there an icon in here so we can go then with display, text, and font awesome icon. We could leave the cog, but I actually prefer the cogs versus the cog. And of course, let's save that. And what we want to do is grab then here the same hover color that we have there and then place that here also on the settings. Now, if I go ahead and run that now all of our menu icons here, there we go. Look at that. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We are starting to go somewhere beautifully. Okay, so we have our settings there, our clients and so forth. Now, one of the things I really want to do, remember, we were talking about adding those settings into our email settings. Right now, we only have the email from. Well, that's a little annoying, isn't it? So let's come back over here to our home page. And again, I'm on all applications. And then I would open again the control client email. And of course, what do I need to do? I need to update the database with our new fields. So we can check here in our control client email form. Let's come here to our events and then on validate. And we have here then the mail SMTP server. So this is a field we will be needing. So we will also be needing username, the password, the port, as well as then the connection type. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. So let's go ahead and access then here our database. And there we have then now our email settings. So I will add 5 new fields here, or columns should I say, after the email from. In fact, I will actually place them before. So it adds after the ID setting. So let's go. And then we can add in here the SMTP server. We have then also the SMTP user, the SMTP pass, the SMTP port, and then the SMTP connection type. Okay, so there we have then our new fields. And well, we want to set the types. Don't forget to set the type. So I'll set them all as varchar. Okay, in fact, the user password here, ideally, I would actually set this as maybe a long text, and I'll explain that one later. But for now, we're just going to enter a password in there, and that will do. But we will have a long text field. Okay. Now, if you have any idea about encryption, you will know why already. Okay, so let's then add our SMTP port in here, 250 for the lengths here. The long text we don't need. The port, well, we don't really need 250 characters for a port. There's typically 4, 5, or 6. You don't need more than that. So let's just add 10 in here. And then the connection type, well, that is 1 character. So we don't even need the varchar. We could actually just come in here and choose char, which is then character. So 1 character up to 10. You could add more maybe, but 1. You're going to add 1 character, then just choose the char. So 1 character, and then here we want to choose from the drop-down menu 0, 0, 0, 0. And notice it is also filling it in here on the right-hand side. Okay, so that will add null values if no data is inserted. So if I go ahead and click save now, there we go. Our database has now been updated with these new fields. Okay, so within our control client email form, we want to make some changes here. So let me come up here to the email parameters. And here then, the first thing I want to do is select fields from my database. Awesome, just like that, really quickly and easily. And of course, if you remember, we do have this already happening previously, but we are actually using global variables there, and we could continue adding them. So if I just go back here, if I save that over here on script init, here we are already getting the email settings, right? So I could actually already just copy this so that I have the initial settings there, but we don't want to set our email settings as a global variable. Okay, just in case. So here we'll just select that here, and then that will do. So we get our email from, which will not be our first field. In fact, we do not even need that, because here we are wanting these specific settings. So let me just copy and paste here the fields. We have then the SMTP server, SMTP user, the SMTP pass also. Okay, just like that. And we have then also the SMTP port. Okay, we actually added that ourselves. So SMTP port. And then what was it? It was then the SMTP connection type. SMTP and con type. Excellent. And in fact, there's an underscore missing there. Don't forget, if you make an error, you can always debug. Check that debug within applications and settings. Okay, and it will tell you if there are any errors here in a few moments. There won't be now. Okay, there are not going to be no errors there now. The fields are perfect. Everything will be great. Have faith, Luke. Have faith. But okay, Luke isn't here right now, and well, who cares about Luke anyway? Well, maybe you do, if you know a Luke, of course, but for sure not the Luke I'm thinking of. So let's go ahead now, and what I want to do is, first of all, I'm going to copy these email parameters and now delete them. Okay, and I'm actually going to replace here the fields here. So what we have then basically is a fallback, right? So I'm going to grab here the actual settings from the database. So I can just place those 2 in there first of all, just so it's nice and we see where we're going to. And then of course we need to add 3 more fields. So before I forget, I will just adjust the field that I'm targeting. So 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It always starts with 0. The first entry here is always 0. It's never 1, 0. Okay, it's very important to note. Remember, zeros and ones. Right, so we have then here SMTP user. That's not what it is. We want user, pass, port, and then the connection type. Okay, excellent. That is then pretty much done already, just like that. But now I don't like this. I'm sorry, I don't like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this because we're in an event now. Okay, on validate. And this is already getting really big here, lots of code. So I'm going to copy that. Okay, I will remove it. And now I will actually say, well, send mail, send underscore mail, create myself a little function here, save that, scroll down on the left-hand side here. And now what I want to do is create a new method. And here, this method, I will then call send mail. Now if I go create, and now I'm going to paste that in there. Beautiful. And just like that, I've separated here the onValidate and the send mail, where we have a nice clean function here. If we wanted to add anything else, then we could do so. Okay, so I want to actually do the same here for the onValidate success. So I'm going to grab this, and here I'm going to call this insert underscore DB, like so. Save that, and then come down here to new method, save on the way, and then here call that insert underscore DB, create that, and again I can paste that now in here. Now because I'm using a macro now to insert that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this sc commit trans. Okay, so it's only the insert in here within this macro, and then here, or this method should I say, and then here I would then add the sc trans here. So to keep it nice and clean, that is then only the insert, and then here we commit the transaction. So if we need to add any more, I can do that beforehand, always knowing that I am essentially committing the transaction once it has concluded. Okay, so that should be pretty awesome already. We have then the settings now being retrieved from the database, but of course one final task remains still to update that settings form, right? So let's come here to the form email settings, and then come back here to application, and then I'll come here to synchronize table. And remember what I said about minimal code within an application? So this form email settings, well, it has barely any code. So I'm quite happy to synchronize the table. So I've synchronized it now. The new fields are there. If I now go ahead and run and enter ID field, ID setting 1 or nothing, because it's only opening the one anyway, I can now go ahead and add my server name. So I'll say mail.servername.com, and then my username at email.com, whatever your email is, and then here is my password. Okay, and then for the port, well, 456 typically, and then the connection type, well, we want to adjust this field maybe, because for the connection type, of course, we have some options there. So let's go ahead into these fields and quickly make those adjustments. So here for the connection type, let's change that from a text to maybe a radio or select. You could choose any of these really. I'm going to go with a select, okay? And then here within the select, I'll say a manual select. And now, well, I don't know if you noticed, but we need language variables once again. Okay, so we would need to update here our application languages again. But for now, let's come in here to application language, come here to general, and I will add a new message here, lang underscore proj for project, mail underscore type. Okay, so there, secure. Okay, that's what we want. So if I say type capital S like so and save that, I can then come back here to the form email settings, and now of course use that language variable there. Lovely. And the value is then S, and I'll say insert, and then I'll add already the next language variable, which I still need to create, and there, that is actually an N, and that is N for no or non-secure. I will save that. I come back here to the application language again, and of course I need to add that language key before I forget, and there we have then with an N, insecure or not secure. however you like. Okay, so I can add that then, and now within the form email settings, that will then of course be correct. So let me go ahead and save that. Okay, so we can go ahead and save and close our form email settings then. Our control client email, we can close that as well as the application language, menu, and our company clients. And of course, what do we want to do? We want to make sure that there are no issues. So I'm going to go ahead and just generate the outdated applications, the ones we just updated and did not save correctly, okay? Well, saved correctly, we saved them, but we didn't generate them. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that now because they're ready. And now I'm going to go ahead and open the data dictionary. Okay, and then within the data dictionary, we can open up then the project one, and we can see here that there are some yellow fields here. So this isn't entirely updated. It says it's outdated table, and then these ones here would be updated. So let's go ahead and check those and then synchronize here again with the dictionary. Remember, we don't want to overwrite the language file indexes, otherwise our language keys and our language changes, well, the changes to the languages, well, they will be gone. Okay, so we see now that we have now further updates here for the table, which is not correct. You have the clients and companies there also, so they are outdated right now. So we want to synchronize them then so that they are no longer outdated. So let's go ahead and do that. And we can see that straight away, again, we are getting errors on these fields, and well, we may have to manually then apply those. So let's go ahead and go back, and we can just close it actually, because sometimes, yes, it's a little frustrating. But all we need to do is come then here to our application language. And now we have here the table email settings, and our new language variables or keys have been placed in here. So we can just go ahead really quickly and open up that email settings form, which is where we want to apply then those language keys. So opening that up, edit the fields, and then here we can then simply copy and paste those language variables that we have here. So let's just copy and paste that, SMTP server, paste that in there, and then let's grab the next one for the user. The user settings, there we go. Place that in there also, and now also for the password. Just copy and paste it again. Quite easy, and that's why I always say there is always so much copy and pasting to do. It's always funny when people say, "Oh, you're a copy paster." Damn, you know, in this, look at it. You just copy and pasting all the time. You know, so that's just the way it goes. Right, so with those language variables all copied over now, okay, you could have, of course, gone and typed them out manually if you wanted to. Good on you. Okay, but in this case, we've copied and pasted them, and I can just go ahead and run that now, and we are going to then see the language keys that we have applied within our application languages here, because, of course, we have not really changed these yet. Okay, so I will go ahead and just leave those as they are and call it a day, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and generate the source code for all of the applications. I will then also, once again, go ahead and version the project. So now this is done. Okay, we can close that and then come here to project, and now I want to increment the version again because we've made some changes, and now we're on version 1.1. Now we're going to be on version 2, and let's say bug fixes and extras. Okay, so then I'll click increment, and there we have then now once again incremented our project, updated the version, and of course made some slight improvements there so that, well, the platform's just a bit better, right? So, of course, members, it is available for you. This is right here, available for you within the members area. And of course, you can grab hold of this, learn from it, do what you like with it, reuse it. And as I said, as we move forward within some of the projects, I will be coming back to this mini little platform, because what does it do? Clients and companies. It manages clients and companies, which is what you tend to do in the majority of your platforms. You will manage your clients, the companies their related data, and whatever else. So this is a great starting point for just about any project. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching Scriptcase by Jamie. I hope you have enjoyed this video and of course learned something from it. And if you want to learn more, well, we have a Scriptcase by Jamie membership. It may sound crazy, I know, but have you seen that knowledge base I've put together? It is jam-packed with information, jam-packed with snippets, code, and everything you need to speed up your development, take your project to the moon. That's why we have the spaceman dude. Not because I'm an astronaut or because we have anything to do with space, but in reality, Scriptcase can take your business, your platforms, your data to the next level with a few clicks, a few little snippets, and that is what the Scriptcase by Jamie membership is there for, to help you learn, to help you advance, and to help you create amazing platforms in record time. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed today's video and this update to the platform. Of course, remember, only available for members, but you can of course follow along within each video and create it to yourself. So thanks again, and until the next video.